Hello, everyone. Welcome to WD Carousel Podcast. My name's Ian.
And I'm Crystal.
And we are going back into the Discovering series. Wow, I'm doing great. But
2021 starting off strong.
Starting off very strong.
We only have two more lands to finish up with Hollywood Studios, so we're going to wrap those up, and then I think we're going to take a little break from the Discovering series. And we're also we have a couple other change-ups that we've decided that we're going to be doing.
Yeah, absolutely. So for a long time, and the majority of you have not been utilizing this, so this is why we're doing it, but we have always provided a video version of the podcast. So there's actually, even since we've gone remote, you can see our faces talking to you. Yep. It's something that we've always done since about episode 20.
Yeah, I was going to say it was real early on podcast history.
Just having, YouTube available, just another channel. But in the end, people just using the main podcast feed has been our main consumption. And we have found some limitations to, putting out our content on the YouTube platform.
We haven't been able to do some shows that we wanted to do. We obviously had to change even our intro and outro, and we miss our old intro and outro. And basically we're cutting the visual, and not saying that we're going to be getting rid of the YouTube channel. The channel is going to be more utilized for when we are down in the parks and we have like dining reviews to do, some vlogging that we do, the occasional episode that might make sense to have a corresponding visual, but it's not going to be a consistent thing.
Yeah. So you're not going to be able to go into YouTube and have a full catalog of all of our episodes going forward. So it doesn't mean that's really the only thing that's really going to be noticeably changing. But because of that, it's going to allow us to do some more kind of interesting things with the actual podcast itself. And we're hoping it's going to improve content for what we can actually deliver to you guys, because we're not totally limited to YouTube's somewhat restrictive policies. Some very highly restrictive policies. They don't really follow the rules of fair use, which is totally in their prerogative to do. They're just trying to protect their own butts and stuff. I don't blame them for that. However, for us, we want to follow the rules of what you can do with a podcast, and we are presently unable to do that because of those restrictions. So that's what we're doing. We're not going away. So if you're people who have been using YouTube, we're not going away. We're just kind of retooling some stuff for 2021, and we're really excited to update our content and bring you some more stuff. So there's going to be more on the way. And if you want to kind of follow along more closely with the things that we are doing for updates, you should just go ahead and join us on Patreon. Our podcasts are still going to be available wherever you listen to your podcasts, Apple Music, Spotify, all of those guys. So we're still going to be a weekly show. In fact, we're hoping that these steps that we're going to be making in the behind the scenes background sort of situation will allow us to be able to give you even more up-to-date content. We might even be able to bring the news back. We don't know. We're still trying to feel things out. But it's very exciting. We're looking forward to being able to do episodes that we've had to put on the back burner for a couple of years now, so we can bring them back to you and then have my favorite intro and outro again. So anyways, absolutely.
This is going to be the last episode with the visual. After this, find us there, or, stay here for parks content when we're down there.
Yeah, exactly. And we're all over the place. So we haven't lost our YouTube presence. We're just shifting what it is, and we hope and make sure to stay tuned, because we have other ideas, and so we're excited to break up our content and make it more.
Just because we're bringing up visuals, we're also now on TikTok. So if you want to see like little 60-second or less snippets of our content, that's a great place to have some visuals too. So check us out there if you are really missing having the visual side of our podcast. But
we're trying to definitely trying to do that.
Yeah. Let's get into the discovering part that we are doing this week. We are going to be diving into one of the newest areas, if not, this is the newest area within Disney World right now.
Oh yeah, it is. I suppose it is the entire property. Yeah.
And as you can probably guess, we're going to be doing Galaxy's Edge, otherwise known as Batuu, otherwise known as Black Spire Outpost, otherwise known as Star Wars Land.
It's all over the place. Absolutely.
27 names later.
Yes. So, we have both kind of talked in passing about how much we really like this area, but I think it is exciting to now be able to go in and talk about this in the realm of our Discovering series. Do you want to start with some history?
Sure, I can go ahead. Well, I mean, you should kind of be familiar, everybody, with Star Wars, but a lot of people don't realize that Disney actually acquired Star Wars in 2012, and it was only a couple years later in 2014 that Galaxy's Edge started to be worked on, even just in the concept phase. It took them 5 years to be able to open the lands to us, both in Disneyland and in Disney's Hollywood Studios in the Orlando property. Another thing that's really interesting is everything that happens in this land, in this area, is actually canon to the Star Wars world.
Yeah.
That includes the location, that includes the language, because they created their own language, the Arabesh and their currency, all of the characters that are created, specifically the original characters, are part of the canon now. They brought in many different little things, and I'll get into some more of those little details, but my favorite one I'm going to say right off the bat here is that when they were building a full-size Millennium Falcon, so if you guys aren't familiar, there's an actual full-size, the first one they've ever made, Millennium Falcon on property. There is a little mini Millennium Falcon that is attached to the underside in a very sneaky little hiding area as you're entering into the Smugglers Run queue. You might need to ask a cast member where it's located and they can point it out, or Ian, when I take you down next, I can point it out too. But that is actually technically a parasite. And because they did it, because the Disney Imagineers put that Easter egg in, now it has to be canon in all of the Star Wars universe that there is a parasite of a tiny little Millennium Falcon attached to the current Millennium Falcon in the universe.
That is so weird.
It's adorable. It's like, okay, that's so really when I say mini Millennium Falcon, I'm guessing it's about the size of a dinner plate.
Sure.
But with how big the actual Millennium Falcon is, it looks itty bitty. It looks like it's underneath one of these bracers, and
Oh, funny.
The timeline of the land is supposed to, if you're looking at the time period of the Star Wars world chronologically, it will take place between the 8th and 9th movie, though there are talks to change it to match more of the Mandalorian time period, which is in between 6 and 7. So that means that we would no longer be having like Rey running around, or the current new 7, 8, 9 characters. Kylo Ren wouldn't be hanging around there because they wouldn't have really been if they were born, they would have been like toddlers, so we're not going to have them running around. It's also one of the largest single themed lands that Disney's ever created in a park, and it's 14 acres big. It's huge.
Wow. Yeah, that's really big.
More than 7,000 props were created just for this land alone.
Yeah.
There is a whole brand new score that's been made specifically for the land by an Academy Award-winning composer, John Williams. So
the award-winning composer.
He came back to work just to make sure that they had appropriate themed music that fit the canon that he created.
Fun fact about me, I listen to like the park music, like the park scores, just like when I'm trying to like just work on something, I just need to focus.
I do
because
too.
it's like it's perfect for that. Yeah, right. I mean, it's just like a perfect thing. And so when they come in and like they're like, John Williams is going to make a custom score for this world, I'm like, yes, sign me up.
And then the final thing I'll talk about for a little bit of history background is, and this actually leads into the walkthrough, which I'll give to you, Ian. There are actually two areas inside the land. There is the Resistance area, and then there's like the First Order
area.
Empire area, the light versus the dark side sort of area. So do you want to take the walkthrough?
Absolutely. Oh, yes. Let's just go ahead and I'm going to get comfortable. All right.
Which side are we entering in on? Because again, we are talking about Disney Hollywood Studios version, because in Disneyland there are actually 3 entrances. Right. So we are
starting kind of where we left off in our last walkthrough. So we are going through the viaduct, and we are going to from Grand Avenue, and we're going to walk through that tunnel. So the viaduct, you walk in, and then you make a right-hand turn, and then all of a sudden it changes from being like Los Angeles to being very like subterranean, Star Wars-y looking. And then you emerge into Galaxy's Edge, which isn't a wonderful experience, by the way. Anyway. The first thing that you will see is Rise of Resistance on the left when you come in that way.
Or the line to get into it.
You're going
to start seeing the line first before you even get to the entrance.
When I was there, the only time I've been there, there was no Rise of Resistance yet. So I just didn't, it was a non-thing. There was just like an X-Wing there. So I'm like, this is a cute little alcove. Like, that's kind of fun. It was kind of fun to walk around in, but turns out that was actually going to be the queue later. So, I just didn't know what I was looking at the time. So then if you keep moving on from there, the Market Merchants is on the left, as well as the Ronto Roasters up ahead of that.
Nom, 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 nom.
And then, and if you walk past both of those, you will walk into kind of an open area, and that has the Droid Depot straight ahead of you.
So, fun fact real quick, I'm going to interject. When I was in the Disneyland version of Galaxy's Edge, they have everything in the Arabesh language on the outside of the buildings. So they don't actually have a lot of the shops labeled. And we had a reservation time to make a droid, me and the friend that I was with. And we could not find the droid depot.
Find the droid bay.
And so eventually we stopped someone that works there and like asked him, we're like, okay, so where the heck is this place? And he's like, are you kidding? Are you joking? And I was like, no. And he's like, turn around. And it was this little door alcove. I had no idea, but literally it was right behind me. I couldn't understand. There's my little dumb anecdote for not.
Are you serious? Yeah.
For not realizing what the heck it was saying above the doorway.
That's really funny. So from looking at the Droid Depot, we take a slight left from there, and you will see Doc Ondar's Den of Antiquities on the right, which I think I've walked in there, and it's pretty cool.
Oh my God, it's amazing. We'll talk about it when we get to the shop.
Yeah, when we get to it. And on the right, you will see Docking Bay. Or sorry, that's on the right, and then Docking Bay 7 Food and Cargo will be on the left.
A little bit further back. Yeah, because
yes.
Ronto Roasters is kind of across the way from Doc Endo.
Yep.
Doc Ondars.
Yep. Yes.
And then a little bit further back where the accessibility ramp is to get down to the Millennium Falcon.
That's
all the way in the back corner. So you have to pass by Docking Bay.
Got it. Okay, so continuing on from there, the Millennium Falcon Smugglers Run will be on the left, and then if we turn to the right in the same area, following that path, that will reveal Oga's Cantina on the left, and then up ahead of that on the right would be the milk stand.
So basically, we just kind of did a huge loop around the Droid Depot and Doc Ondars. That's kind of like the island in the middle, and we just kind of did a loop around that.
Loop around it. And then that will take us then back to that main square again. And then if we're standing there to the right, there'll be a trail that leads out, and that will take you to Toy Story Land. So that's the other exit from the world.
Yeah.
Its layout is like deceptively simple considering how dense it is when you're in there. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. But it's I mean, we talked about it when it first opened, and it's just so immersive, and I don't know, like you feel like it's an actual completely different world that you stepped into, which is great because that's the intent behind it.
Absolutely. That's kind of the hard thing to explain to somebody who hasn't been there, but maybe been to Disney parks. It's like when you cross its threshold into its world, they have taken that like no sight lines, no whatever, to like a totally different level.
Yeah.
You cross over and there is nothing that would indicate where you are. Like you are just now in Batuu and there is nothing to indicate that you're anywhere else. It's really amazing.
Yeah. And like you had said, there are 2 attractions that are currently present in the land. And I think that's probably the way it's going to be for the foreseeable future. Since you've only done one, do you want to talk about Smuggler's Run? Just a little bit. We don't want to do a whole episode, just a little taste.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know. We're going to have to be really like a little snippety on because we're going to talk about both these.
And there's so many trivia facts.
I know. There's so many trivia facts. Can you see that I had to really like hold myself back?
I know. And
both of them.
I told you. I texted you, and I was like, I can't. I need to stop.
I know. Yeah. So I tried to just do a couple little things for both, but we'll see what happens.
Yep.
So the first one that was the first one to open as well was Millennium Falcon Smugglers Run. I would say, and I have my own personal opinions on this, but I would say for sure it's the most interactive simulator on property.
Yes.
You like even like Mission Space, you could push buttons, but this everyone is assigned a role, and you actually. Your role does something.
Yeah,
like,
it affects the outcome
into the world. Yeah, and it isn't just like it makes your seats rumble and like do the next thing, because a lot of things have done that. This one's really amazing because when you steer and move and stuff, it actually responds in the actual ride, which is pretty amazing. And the reason that it's able to do that is because they actually built the entire ride on the Unreal Engine, which is for anyone who's a gamer, they would know that is a very like the very most popular 3D gaming platform engine to build a game on top of. So basically, Smuggler's Run is a video game with like a really, really fancy controller.
Yeah.
From its like. Yeah.
I was going to say 2 big points that stand out to this. Like I said, we try not to get too deep into this. It has an amazing animatronic for the pre-show.
It does.
And
amazing.
When you are given your assignment and your team that you're going to be then brought into your pod area, you're hanging out in the Millennium Falcon's main common area, so you're able to like take pictures of you, and I know there's a proper name for it, but I'm just going to call it the space chessboard, and porg nests hanging around in the wires, and it's beautiful in there, so make sure that you're taking a lot of pictures.
Yes, and unfortunately when I went with my dad, my mom decided that she wanted to just follow around Ray and stuff. But anyway, the 2 of us got in line and did the thing. And I honestly, this is going to be like a hot take that no one probably cares about, but I thought that the least exciting part of that ride was the actual ride.
Me too. It's okay. But that's why you and I are friends.
Anyway, this is true. So anyway, so it's really cool. It is pretty immersive. There are some things that I like about it more than other things. It's very unique. It is. I remember like there was like an early reporter who got to go in and ride the ride for the first time before anyone else did. And he said that stepping into the Millennium Falcon cockpit is sort of a religious experience.
It is.
Which I kind of get. Like,
if you are a diehard Star Wars fan, this is your place to be. Speaking of that, let's just run straight into the other one here real quick. So Rise of the Resistance. Rise of the Resistance was actually supposed to open up earlier than it did. It took quite a long time to get there, and considering it's the most technologically complex like attraction that Disney's ever built, including more than 5 million lines of code. Oh my god. The show itself is contained in 160,000 square feet of show building, which is the largest concrete pour Disney has ever undertaken, and for good reason. You start off in a queue that I did ride the attraction, so I got stuck in it for over an hour because that ride goes down constantly.
Especially toward the beginning when you were there.
Yeah. When it went down, though, people would come through with snacks and water, and they even had a couple characters come by to help keep us happy.
Oh, that's really clever.
But one of the great things about that queue is there's lots of places to sit. Lots of built-in bench areas. So if you are stuck in a long wait, it's at least going to let you sit on a bench.
Right.
There are multiple steps to get into the attraction. Some of the biggest shockers are when you go into the hangar bay and there are over 50 animatronics of stormtroopers, which is not really much of a spoiler because everybody's seen it. But it is jaw-dropping, beautiful, and you're still technically going into yet another queue. That's the thing. Right. You've been through 2 pre-shows, you get to that, and then there's another line before you actually get into the car area. Now, I'm not going to spoil it for you because it is chef's kiss amazing, but I've never seen more amazing animatronics. I've never seen more amazing storytelling. The trackless ride system is fantastic. In fact, if there is some hiccups in technology because of the trackless ride system, it can divert and has like secondary B versions that'll let you go through and still get the story without having to worry about, feeling like you're missing out or getting stuck.
Yeah. And something crazy about the trackless ride systems, the one for Disney, because it's been around for probably about 7 or 8 years, I think. They kind of debuted it in like Disney Sea, I think, in one of their newer attractions.
Wasn't that like Pooh's Honeyboo? Yeah, Honeyboo. Honeyboo.
Which is like the Pooh ride that everyone actually likes. For anyway. So the crazy thing with this system, and I didn't understand it because I'm like, how can it like just go around with no track? Like, obviously, like I know that like you can have like, even the enhanced
Power of
motion
Terror
vehicles
has a little bit of that too.
Yeah, like in the like for Indiana Jones, the ride in Disneyland, and the dinosaur ride.
Those have tracks.
It does, but it's like just a guide. And I'm like, well, so that makes sense, but there was enough for it to get power, enough for it to see. This has nothing. And so I'm like, how does this actually even get power? Like, I don't understand how that's even possible.
Maybe that's why it gets shut down all the time.
Actually, so it turns out, so besides its like sophisticated guidance system, the power is delivered to it via, like you have like your phone has a wireless charger on it. That's what they do for these cars. So anytime they park to get loaded or unloaded or anything, they are getting like there's like a super massive version of that big coil underneath that's just charging onboard quick rapid charge, rapid decharge batteries. And so that's what's powering the ride the entire time. You just got a big battery pack under you that's getting charged every time it comes into the station, which
honestly,
is so cool.
This attraction needs a deep dive, and we'll get to it. But we're gonna go.
I need to go on it first.
We need to nerd out hard. So especially after the 50th, I'm gonna say that I'm gonna get you on it. Here's hoping that I can get us boarding pass because I've been able to, but then we'll be able to go. But let's get into dining because I don't want this episode to be, an hour long. We have Oga's Cantina, which I've gone to. It's one of the hardest dining reservations that you need that you can get on property. It's up there with Cinderella's Royal Table, and it doesn't even offer full food. There's like there's like munchie bites, and it's mostly alcohol. You're only allowed to order 2 drinks while you're in there because there's always so many people that want to get in, so you can't just monopolize the time. There is a secret menu, charcuterie board, so if you want to get little munchies, you can. One of the neat things in there, though, is there is a DJ robot, which might look familiar to some people. It's actually the droid that's in charge of the music is the DJ R3X. The former Rex. Yes, the former Star Speeder 3000 pilot from Star Tours.
Outstanding.
And he even occasionally will quote unquote fritz out an error and sometimes say some of his old dialogue, and we all know it's intentional, but it's hilarious when he says light speed to Endor, and those things that you're
I think I had to look this up once. I think that it's not Pee Wee Herman. What's his name? Paul Rubens is the voice for Rex.
I have no idea.
Yeah, fun fact. Anyway, I think that's who it is.
I tried a number of different drinks while I was there because I was with a group of people pre-COVID. I wasn't afraid to share drinks with people. My favorite funny one though was the Fuzzy Tauntaun, and that one actually has a foam on top that is derived from the I'm gonna botch this, Acmella oleracea. Whose buds are called buzz buttons, but basically it's this foam that they put on top of this mango drink, and it makes your lips go completely numb and your tongue, and it's not quite to the point of you're going to the dentist numb. Right, it's like the little tingles, like it's almost asleep, but it doesn't want to go to sleep yet.
Ooh, that's really weird.
It's really kind of fun. Next place is Docking Bay 7. Which I'm not sure. Have you eaten at any of these places?
I have not.
Okay. I've never eaten at Docking Bay 7. But one thing that I do know is that that's where the official Star Wars Galaxy's Edge Black Spire Outpost cookbook is based off of. A lot of the food that they offer in there actually didn't even have English names. They were doing the Arabic names, and people had no idea what they were ordering, and they wouldn't go to the restaurant for food because they didn't know what they were ordering. And it's like ordering a cube of chicken, but they didn't call it a cube of chicken or chicken. They called it something else, something special. Right. This place is also reputed to have the best vegan meal on property.
Really?
Yes. I've seen multiple reviews done, and everybody's like, yeah, I'm hearing this, and we'll try it. We'll see. And then they're like, oh my gosh, I'm going to be back here all the time, and I'm not even vegan. And I'm like, okay. Well,
all right.
I'm listening to you.
Okay, next question.
Yes.
Sorry, I'm just going back because I need to remember.
Yeah.
Is Oga's Cantina table service or cafeteria style?
It is table service. They sit you down. You have a reservation. They sit you down. They used to do more community style because they were big tables. But now with COVID and social distancing, I don't think they are. But then you have a waiter come up and just take your couple drink orders and go back.
Got it. Okay.
Ronto Roasters I have eaten at. I think that has first off a better aesthetic than Docking Bay 7 does. It even has an animatronic robot turning a spit of meat over the heat fire of a gas engine stolen from one of the starships. It's hilarious. They basically make a sausage wrap. They have a breakfast one and they have a regular one, but I've tried them. They are really good. And considering that Hollywood Studios is not known for food, this is one of the places that I actually make sure that I go if I'm going to be eating quick service.
I do like the fact that they went on, and they did it a little to a certain degree when they did Pandora too, but I really like that they're able to do the creating like a meal, like they're doing other menus to be custom and specific for the world, and the food actually kind of works in with the world that they're building, and not just like, oh, and then here is your hot dog. It's like actually interesting.
Speaking of food that works into the world, the milk stand.
Yes.
They offer blue and green milk. And I've tried both. And I don't like them.
Okay, good to know. I didn't mind blue, I feel like.
They're thicker than you would think. They're not milk, but they're not quite a shake.
No, yeah, they're kind of a funny mix. So,
texture.
Do you know what they're made of?
I have no idea.
It is based on a rice milk protein kind of thing.
Okay, that makes more sense for the texture.
They didn't want it to be made from dairy because they wanted like as many people. So basically the goal was this is an iconic thing, right? Like the blue milk is iconic to the Star Wars franchise.
Yeah, it's been there since A New Hope. It's been there since the first movie.
Right. So they want it to be as iconic and easy for people to try as possible. So they used as many hypoallergenic ingredients as possible. So rice milk is very hypoallergenic. There's like nobody that's allergic to it. And then all the flavorings were just like the whole thing was designed to look exactly like blue milk, taste palatable, and be not allergenic to anybody. That was basically the logic that I understand behind it.
I think the green one tastes like Sprees. I don't know. I'm going to have to... I did do a dining review
I have to do it again.
I did do a dining review, and I just need to find the footage. Maybe I'll put that up on our YouTube channel here.
Yeah.
But yeah, I did a dining review of the two milks, and they do offer both milks in alcoholic options as well, if that's more your style. But and then the final quote unquote food stand is the Jat Ka coolers, which are basically the pop places that you can get your thermal detonator, Coca-Colas, Diet Cokes, Sprites. They have carts that are painted to specific droids, specific R2 units. So you can see those guys running around. Now, shopping.
Cheers.
9 different retail locations, and most of them don't actually have official names. They have like Creature Shop, Droid Depot. There's the Doc Ondar, which we've talked about. And honestly, I think that's the best shop because his animatronic alone is sensational. It's sensational. And all he does is sit there. He's surrounded by a cage, but it makes sense to the theming. And there's over 700 unique items that you can get there. Most of them are only sold in Galaxy's Edge. So I would spend some time looking through the different shops. You can even hear like the ambient noises around the marketplace area of people, that would be living above the shops and that sort of thing. It's really immersive.
Oh, it's super cool. And so, per our standard thing, this whole area was basically part of the backlot. So, if the backlot tour, maybe we'll do an abandoned or an extinct attraction episode on the backlot tour, but that's what was here.
Yeah, it wasn't even where you entered in. It wasn't where you exited out of the attraction. This was literally just the attraction area.
Yeah. So it was just like, I mean, like I said, we should talk about it at some point because it's so pivotal to the history of the park. But yeah, it's just like the whole thing is just sitting on top of that area. So.
Okay. We're going to get into some trivia. We're going to rapid fire this because, again, I don't want to make this an hour-long episode. So in the marketplace on the rack of speeders, the second speeder down has an LMA in the alien language Arabesh that refers to the old Lights Motor Action Show.
Classic. And you talked about the Hidden Millennium Falcon. So when you're making a lightsaber, there are more than 120,000 possible combinations when you're building it at Savvy's workshop. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah. When you're at the Droid Depot, there are over 280,000 possible combinations to construct an R series or BB series astromech droid. And I'm not sure if that includes all the little extra additions that you can purchase, like personality chips and stuff, but that would make sense to bump up those numbers some more.
Bump up those numbers for sure. So the gray and blue X-Wings, are those like out in the... Is that what I was looking at before? They're like out in the...
Yes.
Outside? Yeah.
Yes.
So those are actually Mandalorian props.
Film screen used Mandalorian props.
Wow, that's cool.
You can spot the gold bust of Gungan Jar Jar Binks, our favorite.
Everyone's favorite Gungan.
Inside Doc Ondar's Den of Antiquities. Look near the top display area of the store to see him nestled in with other artifacts from around the galaxy.
Nice. The droid tracks. Wait, where are we looking for this?
On the ground, just around.
Just around. Okay. Mm-hmm. Those are from an R2 unit used in episode 4 A New Hope, the original Star Wars, and they are just everywhere. You can see them leading through the marketplace near Millennium Falcon and then also in the Resistance base area.
Yep. We've talked about that one already. Yes. So each trash can and recycling bin inside Star Wars Galaxy's Edge has a number. It is 3263827 on it. This number is a hidden reference to the sector number where Luke Skywalker, Han Solo, and Leia were tossed into the trash compactor on the Death Star.
Oh my god, I love that.
The one that he's yelling at 3PO to make sure that he's opening up that correct door.
3PO! Oh, heavens. Okay, that's really funny, actually. So this is also the first land in any Disney park ever designed from the ground up to fully integrate with the Disney Play Parks mobile app, which I did play with quite a bit when we were in the Smugglers Run queue.
And they keep it personal to you. So whatever points you get on like the Millennium Falcon Smugglers Run, those are specific to you and your profile. So it's not like going and just playing a tedious game, but you can reach different levels and all that other stuff.
And it was cool because when it's the Disney Play app, but then like when you start playing, when it knows that you're in Galaxy's Edge, the whole thing changes to like look like you're like on a communicator from Star Wars, which is really cool as well.
And then our final little trivia fact of the day: if you are using the drinking fountains near the bathrooms at the marketplace, there is an aquatic alien, Dianoga, that is named Tiny. Looks very similar to the one from the trash compactor. And so when you use the water fountain, occasionally it'll pop up. That one eye will look around and then it'll go back in under the Merc. And they actually just came out with a toy version for you to take home.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That's really funny. Actually.
So that is Galaxy's Edge in as much of a quick rundown nutshell as we could get it.
Hey, we did pretty well.
Yeah, we didn't do too bad.
Yeah.
But our next episode, just a reminder, we will not be visual. So find us wherever you listen to podcasts.
Yeah. Make sure to follow us on TikTok. And if you like what you hear, support us on Patreon.
Definitely. This has been WD Carousel of Podcast. My name is Crystal.
And I'm Ian.
And we hope you have a great, big, beautiful tomorrow. Bye, everybody.